Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk specifically about Dungeons and Dragons, and we're going to talk about Alfonso, and we're going to talk about summoning creatures and spirits and entities. All right, so let's talk about Alfonso for a minute. What the heck do I mean by Alfonso? All right, so when I say Alfonso, that's going to be a word that I'm going to use in this video so that I don't wake devices in your house. All right, so what do I mean by Alfonso? All right, so what I mean by Alfonso is Amazon, owned by Jeff Bezos, has devices. These devices are collectively called by the name Alexa. Now, I said that so that I didn't wake one of those devices in your house right now. And then these devices, they come in two kinds. They come in DOT and they come in ECHO, okay? So I'm going to say Alfonso, but I mean Alexa. Now, why does Alfonso just roll off my tongue? So one, in my home, we have Alfonso. We have lots of DOTs and ECHO devices. We have them all over the house. And it is magical, and we love them, and we are using the heck out of them. And we really, Alfonso has become a major part of our lives. And I've really thought a lot about this device because it is really quite magical. When you start to see things that function in the real world like magic, it makes you start to think about Dungeons and Dragons and Dungeons and Dragons magic. And that's what we're going to talk about, is the link between them. Understanding summoning of spirits, creatures, and entities through Amazon's Alfonso. Okay. All right. So thank you for your patience there. I didn't want to wake your devices in case you have them. Many people have these devices now, and if anybody does a video where they just say that name constantly, it will drive those devices nuts. So I just wanted to explain that. All right, let's do it. Okay. So, by the way, the reason why I have that word Alfonso at hand is my family has tons of Alfonsos in the house, and we use an Alfonso system, right? We have them all over the house, and we use them constantly. We love Alfonso, but we also, the Garibays are like we're a joyful family, and we make a lot of jokes. So as soon as we got this thing, we started joking constantly. And we would make jokes with Alfonso in the room, and Alfonso would try to do our jokes, which is really bad. So immediately we had to make this pen name for Alfonso. So that's the word we use in the house. Whenever we are talking about Alfonso, we say Alfonso so that Alfonso doesn't have a wake word. By the way, if you want to understand how magic works and how summoning spirits works, good Lord, you've got to get yourself an Alfonso. Because, man, if there was ever anything that was like summoning a spirit, something with a wake word, like wake up and do my bidding, creature. Like, you really are like a wizard when you own an Alfonso. It is weird. Okay, so one, I want to address something right out of the gate. If you're an Alfonso user, you know what I'm talking about. This ain't for you, but I need to talk to the rest. So I have a good friend, and he's like, I got an Alfonso as a gift, and I told the person, I don't want this thing. It's terrible. I'm not going to put a spy in my house, blah, blah, blah. Right? I'm like, yeah, whatever. Are you going to be helping the Amish bale hay this week? Right? Blah, 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 blah. Like, if you're worried about being recorded, dude, you carry a cell phone with you everywhere you go. That boat is already sailed. Come on. Right? So, okay. So, how ridiculous. So the whole point is, this thing is here, and these things are here, and they're assistants that wake and serve you. That's a lot like binding a spirit, exactly like we do in magic, right? Exactly like we do in Dungeons and Dragons through magic, with our wizards and our sorcerers, and our clerics. So it's really, really interesting. So people who don't have Alfonso, they're like, oh, well, Alfonso's not necessary. I can just ask whatever I want from my phone, right? Well, here's the thing. You can't, okay? Because one, you've got to get your phone, and you've got to put your hands on it, and you've got to say, hey, I want XYZ, okay? And it's not set up to work in the way that Alfonso it's set up to work. There's one other reason why your phone is not as cool as Alfonso, okay? And here's the Dungeons and Dragons part. This is really critical to understand. We put these in our house, and we're like, well, we're just, one of the biggest features we do is we use these to set alarms. And it's just so easy. We're like, hey, Alfonso, set an alarm for 8:15 a.m. And then Alfonso wakes you up. It's great. And you don't have to go to your phone. You don't have to go boop, 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 like an Amish person, okay? Like some kind of cave person. It's just not good, right? It's just fast. It's fluid, okay? But here's the other kicker. Your phone is your phone. Other people can't take your phone and set an alarm. So if you're in a home, Alfonso doesn't belong to anybody. It is a communal device. It is a servant that serves everyone. And that's the Dungeons and Dragons point. That's what we don't have in Dungeons and Dragons right now that we need, right? And you can put it into your game immediately, and I think it should be in the Monster Manual for Dungeons and Dragons 6th edition. This is a deep, deep subject. And again, the Israelites have the people who live in Israel, I heard, okay. People who live in Israel have a saying, do and you will understand. And it's so true. Like, I didn't get this about Alfonso until we had it and we used it. But it is really incredible. It is just incredible. So, basically, if with a communal device that no one owns, it really acts in a different way. It's so powerful, right? So right now, when you summon a spirit, whether it's an imp or some kind of Baelish creature to do your bidding, if you're a warlock or something like that, that thing is bound to you and it will serve you, okay? But think about spirits that would serve anyone who knew how to just give them a command. So think how it would change if elementals, think about just how it would change for a D&D household if anyone could summon elementals to do just the same, I'll give you the examples, okay? So let's think about a Dungeons and Dragons world. We'll use the realm of Thracion. That's my homemade world. And so in Thracion, there's been a new change in how the elementals are called. And at this point, anyone in their home can take a pinch of salt and just sprinkle it on the ground, sprinkle it on their floors in their home, and go walk and do a circle. So they just sprinkle the salt and then turn around in a circle, and immediately an air elemental that was watching anyway, but was on the ethereal plane, right, immediately emerges and then sweeps the house out, sweeps all the dust out of the house. You don't have to sweep the house now, right? Or tassels your hair so your hair looks nice. It's a service. And anyone in the realm can do it, not just a wizard, right? Think about that same person, that same woman walks out actually, it could be a man or a woman. Whoever's the resident in the home walks out, right, and says, and then actually, looks up in the sky. Oh, wow, look at those clouds. There's going to be a flood today. And oh, no. My floor is going to be a mess. So so the person just walks over, grabs a tuft of grass, and grabs a simple tuft of grass, and grabs that tuft of grass, sprinkles it on, and throws the tuft of grass on the ground, and turns around in a circle, and now an earth elemental comes and lifts her home 4 feet off the ground, so there's no flood. Okay, the one of the men who lives in that home later that day wants to make stew, and comes forward and takes just a small bit of ash, throws ash onto the ground, and goes around in a circle. Okay, and then once they do that, once they go around in a circle, immediately the cauldron, a bright fire lights under the cauldron. No logs are needed, and the cauldron will heat until the stew is done, because a fire elemental has been brought forward by just throwing ash on the ground and turning in a circle. It's not a whiz, and the elemental was just waiting there to serve anyone who did these steps. The person doesn't need to be magical in any way. They just need to have a pinch of ash, need to know to turn in a circle after they throw it on the ground, right? So you have air, earth, water. What else is... so it's earth, air, water. Why? I guess I'm forgetting that fourth element. That's kind of odd. So you have earth, air, water. Boy, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on the fourth. Yeah. So you had, what were the firebenders? They had air, they had water, they had fire, earth, air, water, fire, and the last one is water. We haven't done water, right? So the person needs water to take a bath. They go over to the bath area, and at that point, all they need to do to fill the bathtub is just take a single drop of water from anywhere else and just flick it at the area and then turn around in a circle, right? And that will fill the entire tub with water from a water elemental, right? And that's just one example. But this idea of what if the servants served anyone, it's incredibly powerful. It's incredibly unique. It's a really interesting vision. And I only thought about it once I had seen Alfonso in action. So one of the things that makes Alfonso incredibly powerful is Alfonso is powerful because it's not bound to one person. It's not just controlled by one person. It's a communal device. Very, very interesting. And the idea of communally, of creatures that can be summoned communally, spirits that can be summoned communally, entities that can be summoned communally by anyone. That's powerful. We don't have that in Dungeons & Dragons right now, and I think it should be put directly into your game immediately, and it should absolutely be in the monster manual for Dungeons & Dragons 6th edition. All that's my opinion. I'd love to hear your opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.